Right. Okay. So let's take this to this. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chalo.
Yes.
Fine. So in the last class, we discussed about the, let me record this. Mhm. So in the last class, we discussed about the SQL Server installation, and then after the installation, what and all folders will be created, what and all services will be created, how to identify the service, where to check the services, how to start the services, how to stop the services, how to restart the services using GUI, using query, and using CMD also. And in the morning class, even I gave you assignments. Okay, so as of now, like I can see that Rosa and I guess Abhishek, I just received responses from Rosa and Abhishek so far. So I don't know whether others tried or not on this. Like I gave you two assignments, right? How to connect to the instance in the SSMS. What are the other names we can use? Okay, what are the other names we can use to connect to the SQL instance in the Management Studio? And the other way is, the other assignment is, what is the other assignment, guys? How to start, no, not is the, like how to check the version in the
How to connect
platform.
how to
How to
connect to
connect to the
SQL
SQL
Server
Server.
using CMD.
Yeah. How to connect to the SQL servers using CMD. How to connect to the SQL servers using CMD, and I asked you to run one sample query like select a data version. Anyone tried, guys? Anyone tried these assignments? No one other than Rosa and Abhishek. Anyone tried? Even this session is already uploaded in the morning itself. It was uploaded in the YouTube, guys. I don't know how many of you tried. At least if you check, okay, so you'll get a basic idea. Just try it. Okay, so these two assignments, guys, at least by next class, try to complete these two assignments. Fine, okay. So in today's session, what we can do is we'll discuss about the database internals. Okay, we'll discuss about the database internals. So we have already installed SQL Server, right? This is our SQL Server. This is our Windows machine, and inside that we can see the SQL Server. So we have already installed the SQL Server. So now what we can do is we have to create the tables. Okay, we have to create the tables. But if we want to create the table, generally table will be stored in the database, guys. Table is an object which will be stored in the database. So if I want to create any table, first of all, I have to create the database. So let's discuss this part. What is database? When you create the database, how many files will be created? Okay, how to create the database, and internally what will happen? How many files will be there? What is the functionality of each file? Okay, how to check the files? In case if I want to add the files, how to add the files? If I want to delete the files, how to delete the files? Internally what will happen exactly, how the file will be managed, how the data will be managed. Okay, everything will be discussed. So little internals we are discussing now, so don't worry, it's a simple concept only. So we'll discuss with the help of the diagrams. Fine. So now, as I said, if I want to proceed to create the tables and all, first of all I should create one database. So what is meant by database, guys? Tell me, what is meant by database?
Included data.
Database is
What is
a DBMS software which is used to
DBMS software? Is that Roja? I'm not asking what is
That's
SQL Server.
yeah.
What is SQL Server? Whatever you are saying that is related to the SQL Server definition. Okay. What is a database?
It's a platform to store data, manage.
It's
Very
a
good. Mhm.
database
It's
is an object.
It's like
very
a
good. Database is an object which will help you to store the
it
data.
is used
Store
to
the
store the
data.
data.
Very simple thing, collection of objects, okay, where we can see where we can create the databases and all. I mean to say where we can create the tables and all. So collection of objects, we can say different definitions. So database is nothing but collection of, okay, data files and log file. Okay, database, a simple definition. Generally will be used to store the data only. Okay, we'll store the data in the form of tables. To create these tables, first we need the database. Tables will be stored in the database, guys. So if I want to create the table, first of all, I have to create the database. So database is a collection of, okay, your data files and log files. Okay, data files and log files. So these two are very new to us. So what is data file? What is log file? How the data will be stored internally, how the data will be managed internally. I'll try to explain, listen carefully. Okay. So let's go to this and we'll open this flow chart. Right. Okay. Let me go to batch 59. Batch 59 diagrams. Very simple. Don't worry. Okay. I'll try to simplify it. In case if you stuck at any point, you can ask me, guys. Don't worry. Okay. Fine. This is my Windows server. Okay. Inside the Windows server, we'll have SQL server. Okay. So this is my SQL server. Inside the SQL server, we'll have database. Okay. Inside the SQL server, we will have a database. Let's go to this. Okay. This is very useful for us. Okay. Now, gear symbol. Imagine this is the application. The application is directly connected to the database. Okay. What is the application? Tell me any application name. Tell me any application that we are using regularly.
Geomart.
What is it?
Geomart, sir.
Geomart.
SQL
Okay.
Server.
SQL Server. Okay. I mean to say the application that we are using in our daily life. Okay. Geomart.com. Okay. Geomart.com. So what is this Geomart? Maybe it's an FMCG, I guess, right? Geomart.
Yes.
Let's open this Geomart. Maybe, okay. So we can buy some groceries, something like that. Okay. Geomart.com. Right. So if you open this website, okay. If you open this website, we can see, let me go to this. Right. So if you open this website, we can see a lot of groceries, like we can buy any of the groceries, vegetables, or some FMCG goods like fast moving consumer goods. Okay. So all these things we can buy. Okay. Anything like home and lifestyle. Imagine just want to see something, some of the options. Okay. So if I want to buy anything, okay. For example, I want to add some vegetables, fruits kind of thing. So I want to buy some watermelon, guys. Okay. Now, so now I'm opening this application. How this application will work in the back end, what will happen when you click on that watermelon, what will happen, everything you know, right? In the beginning of the sessions we discussed, right? The three-tier architecture, web server, application server, database server. So we are getting this data at the end of the day. From where we are getting this data, guys? All this data from where we are getting?
From
From where?
database.
One database. Database means what? From one database means what? Database means correct. It's we are getting the data from the database only, but exactly from where we are getting inside the database.
From
Where this
tables.
data will be stored? Very good. It will be stored in the form of tables. These tables will be stored in the database. So whatever you can see, the name, the price, the weight, the ratings, okay, offers, everything, delivery location, okay, like the description of the product. So everything, what and all data you can see here, okay. So that is coming from one table actually. That is coming from one table actually. So when I'm trying to place one order here, automatically it will ask my details. Just now you can see, right, when I'm trying to open this application, it is checking, hey, please provide your location or else give me your pin code. Based on that, I'll check whether we have a feasibility of the service or not, whether we can deliver the products to your location or not. So it is asking. So I am giving the inputs. Now what will happen, guys? I am trying to buy one object. I am going to select it. I am going to give my address. I am going to complete the payment, and then finally I am going to place the order. Once the order is placed, this will be stored in the database. Database means table only. So how the data will go? Okay, how the data will go? So if you go to this application, this is geomart.com, and this geomart.com is connected to one database. Okay, this application is connected to one database. Whatever data you can see now on the screen, that actually you are getting the data from one database. Database means the tables inside one database, right? So as I said, database is actually collection of two files, guys. Database is actually a collection of two files. Generally, in our college days, I don't know how many of you are having this habit. In our college days, when lecturer is saying something, okay, if you are very good student, the lecturer will not give time to write all those things. What we will do? What we will do generally? We are going to
Running
write down.
notes.
Running notes will be there. Very good. So, like as we have less time, we'll try to first document it in the running notes. Later, we are going to write down each and every point clearly in a separate notes. Okay. This running notes is a kind of a temporary notes, right? And then once we have the data, then by using this reference of this running notes, so we are going to copy the data from running notes to the main notes, correct? So here also the same logic will work. So database is actually collection of two files. One is log file, second one is data file. Database is actually a collection of two files. One is log file, second one is data file. So I can say log file is a kind of a running notes. Log file is a kind of a running notes. Data file is a kind of a main notes. We'll save the data permanently in the data file, whereas log file will store the data temporarily. Okay, in the log file we'll store the data temporarily. So now let me go to this. Okay, for example, clip art, some notes kind of thing will be there. Advanced. Okay, this is enough. Okay, right. Let me expand this. And one more file, notes, something like notes, this kind of thing. Right. Listen carefully. It's easy only, very easy. So don't worry. Okay. Right. So now Shanmukh is placing an order of watermelon. Okay. So generally, what kind of query it will generate? Generally, I am placing an order. So what kind of query it will generate generally? Can you guess the query? If I am opening the website, I am checking the products, what kind of query will run?
Maybe select
Select
Insert
query.
query.
Very good.
Insert query.
Normal, if I'm checking the products and all, if I'm just checking the products and all, when I'm opening the web page and all, when I'm checking the products,
Search query. Search query.
search in the sense select query. There is no search query.
Select.
Okay. You are
Okay.
good. Okay. There is no search query. Select query with search filters. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's a select query. When I'm seeing the data means when I'm just checking the data means it's a select query. I am placing an order. So what kind of query it will be? Insert query, right? I am
Insert query.
just placing an order. I want to buy watermelon. Okay, so I am placing an order. So it's an insert query. So right, like this kind of insert query, it is going to run insert into table name, something like fruits. Okay, values. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying exactly the same query will run. Okay, I'm just giving a reference. But insert query only will run. Okay, so insert into table name, which is fruits is my table name, and values something like my order ID, something like this. Okay, and then okay, something like this, and customer name is Shanmukh. Okay, customer name is Shanmukh, comma, the cost is like 80 rupees. Okay, 80 rupees, comma, address is like something like Bangalore. Okay, comma, some delivery date is like 20th July, something 2007 2025. Okay, so like this kind of query, when I select the product, okay, like this kind of query will generate, guys. This kind of query, I'm saying not this query, this kind of query will generate. So when I'm placing an order, this query, it will go to this, through the application, it will go to the database. So database means, as I said earlier, database means it's a collection of two files. Okay, one is a log file, second one is a data file. Database means it's a collection of two files. First one is a log file, second one is a data file. So log file is a kind of a logbook, guys. Log means what is the meaning of log? What
for
is
a
the
temporary.
normally, just I'm normally asking logbook. You know the logbook, right? If you go to library, you can see the logbook. Correct? If you go to any apartment for the visit, you can see the logbook. What is the meaning of that?
Entry book, like
Entry book.
register book.
Or
Register. Just it's a registry, right? It will be like it will register each and everything into the logbook. So for example, if you go to the library, so there generally we will have a library ID. In case if you have a library membership, you will have a library ID, and they are going to mention everything. Nowadays they are mentioning in the system. Generally they use it to mention in the books, log books and all. So what is your library ID, membership ID, what and all books you have with you, since how many days, when you took the book, in case if any penalties are there, so how much is the penalty, okay, and when you are going to return, okay, when you are going to submit, everything, all these details will be there in that particular logbook. Why we are mentioning all these things in the logbook, guys? Why? What is the purpose?
if any
Temporary store.
Hmm.
case,
To have a record of everything.
Correct. We can able to recover. If something goes wrong, we should be able to recover, so that in that logbook, they are going to track our mail ID, they are going to track our mobile number. In case if we are not returning the books, they are going to call to us and they are going to inform, hey, you are not returning the book, and like you have to pay some penalty, some fines and all. In the same way, if you go to any apartment also, there also you can see the logbook. Entry book will be there. So they are going to take your name, like from which location you are coming, what is your mobile number, everything they are going to take. So if something goes wrong, they should have some details, proof, right? Whether you came or not, whether you are the person, you are the real person or not, like why you came. So a lot of, they will have their own security reasons, right? If you are entering into the society or in a building, they will have their own security reasons and all. So if something goes wrong, they will have your details to track it easily. So why we are tracking all these details? So if something goes wrong, we can track the details easily. Means the recovery is easy. For that purpose, we are tracking all these things. So if any, this is called, what is this guys? Whatever you can see this insert query, what is this? Can you tell me what is this? There is a name for this. Can you guess? Easy only, you can easily guess it. This is called dash. This is called one
User
transaction.
data.
Transaction. Data is different, transaction is different. Okay. So whatever statement you can see is a transaction. The data means the values that you can see inside the transaction is called data. Is it clear, guys? There is a difference between transaction and data.
Okay.
Transaction means the complete statement is a transaction. And along with that, in the transaction, you can see the data also. The values inside the statement is called the data, because you should know the difference. That's why we are discussing all these things now. So now when you are doing a business, so the transaction will goes from the application to the database. As I said, first where it will go? The transaction will go to
Log.
the entry of the database is log file. How we have main door. How we have main door. In the same way, the entry of the database is log file only. So this is your log file. Okay, whatever you can see now, the first file is the log file. So for every transaction, first it will go to log file only. Okay, first it will go to log file only. There it will store temporarily. Okay, there it will store temporarily, guys. Remember, it will store temporarily. That's it. Okay, there it will store temporarily. Then at regular intervals, what will happen? I'll tell you when these regular intervals will happen, but I'm just using a word called regular intervals. At regular intervals, the data will be moved from log file to data file, guys. At regular intervals, the data will be moved from log file to data file. Okay. So what are those regular intervals and all? I'll tell you. Don't worry as of now. Whatever data is there, okay, first every transaction will goes to log file first, and then once the transaction is committed, the data here, see the difference, here see the difference, the data only will goes to data file. Okay, only the data, it will not copy the whole transaction, only the data will goes to data file, guys. Is it clear? Are we good, guys? Again, I'll explain. Whatever transaction we are coming from the application, we are getting from the application, first the transaction will goes to the database. Database means collection of two files. One is log file, second one is data file. Log file will be used to store the transactions temporarily, whereas data file will be used to store the data permanently. This is, as of now, you can imagine, this is like a RAM. Temporarily it will store until when? Until the data is going to be moved to data file permanently. Until then it will store here. Once the data is moved to the data file permanently, there is no use of this transaction. It will be truncated from the log file. I'm using a word called truncated. Truncated means what? It will be deleted from the log file. Why? Because again the log file has to be reusable. Log file is a reusable file. I'll give you a simple example. If you go to any hotel, okay, if you go to any hotel, okay, so generally imagine this is the scenario. I'm not saying exact scenario, but example scenario this is. So my check-in time is 10 o'clock, okay, but due to some traveling and all, I reached early itself, or 9:30 itself I reached. Okay, so I'm with the family, 4 members or 5 members. So I reached the hotel. They're saying, sir, your check-in time is 10 o'clock, but it's already 9:30. Okay, so you have to wait for 30 minutes. So what I'll do? I'm going to wait in the lobby of the hotel for 30 minutes. What they will do once that time is over, like either if anyone is already staying in that room, what they will do? They are going to vacate the room. Once they vacated, cleaning and all will be there, right? At least 30 minutes time they will take. So until I am going to move to the particular room that was allocated to me, temporarily I will wait in the lobby. Me, my family, my belongings, my luggage, everything will wait in the lobby. Once the room is cleared, once they gave the sign off, you can go, then only I'll move with everything to the particular room. That means either I'll stay at lobby or I'll stay in the room. I will not stay in both the places. Once it is committed, once I got the room, once the room is vacated and it was cleaned, once they confirmed, then I'll move with all my belongings from lobby to the room. So room is a permanent place, whereas lobby is a temporary place. Until I am going to get the room, I will wait in the lobby. Once I got the room, I'll move. Move means in the lobby I will not present. So it will be empty. So that the lobby will be used to welcome other, what we can say, customers and all. Okay, so this is how it will work. So until the data is going to be moved to the data file, it will be temporarily stored in the log file. The transaction will be temporarily stored in the log file. So the log file will store lot of details. This is called writing everything to the log file is called val. What is that, guys? Val. What is meant by val? What is meant by val? Writing everything to the log file is called val. Val means write ahead logging. Write ahead logging. Logging means writing, guys. That's it. The meaning of logging itself is writing. Okay, logging means writing. That's it. So I am going to store all the details. So what SQL Server will do? SQL Server will store all the details, not only the transaction. Transaction includes when this transaction came, at what time it came, in what database it is going to be executed. Okay, for every transaction, SQL Server will allocate one serial number. That serial number is called LSN number. What is that LSN number? Log sequence number. For every transaction, for the tracking purpose and all, it will allocate one LSN number. So what is the LSN number? At what time it came, in what database, in what object, means in which table it is going to be inserted or modified or updated, whatever it is, in which table it is going to be inserted. So all these things will be stored in the log file, guys, because if something goes wrong, I should be able to recover the data, right? For example, you are sending the amount to me. You are sending 20,000 rupees to me. Imagine example, or 10,000 rupees to me. So what is the state of the transaction? Generally, what will be the state of the transaction, guys? When you are sending a money to me, what will be the state of the transaction? It should be completely successful, or it should be completely failed, correct? Is it partial successful will be there for the particular transaction, like 5,000 I'll get to my account, 5,000 will be there in your account? Is it possible? If you are sending money to me, either the money has to be completely sent to the customer, or the transaction has to be failed and 0 rupees has to be transferred. So either it will be fully successful or it will be fully failed. There is no partial successful, correct? And what it will do when you are sending money? When you are sending money, don't think it will simply send the money. It is going to track all the details. Who is the sender? Who is the receiver? From which account you are sending? Which bank you are sending? At what time you are sending? To which account you are sending? What is the customer name? What is the purpose you are sending? Date, at what date you are sending, it will store all these details. Why, guys? Why it will store all these details? Guess it. You know the answer, right? Can you guess it?
Tracking purpose.
Tracking.
Tracking purpose. Very simple. Sometimes the transaction will go to pending state. The customer, the receiver will not receive the money. The amount also will be debited from the sender's account. So the amount will be debited from your account. At the same time, receiver also will not get the amount. It might take some time because the transaction went into pending state. So when it was in pending state, next time if it has to be successful means it should have all the details, right? And it is money, it is cash, very valuable thing. And if something goes wrong tomorrow, next time, if you are again raising a complaint on phone pay, hey, phone pay is deducted 10,000 rupees from my account, so how can you complain? Phone pay is having all the proofs, to which account you sent, from which data, from which device you sent. In case if you send by mistake to other account number also, you can call to customer care. Phone pay, you can request them at least immediately. If you do the transaction immediately, if you contact them, they might can do something. So to track all these things, phone pay is going to record each and every minute detail of this transaction. In the same way, I am placing the order. It can be 80 rupees watermelon, it can be 80,000 Apple phone. The cost can be anything, but at the end of the day, I am the customer to the GeoMart. So it's a GeoMart responsibility. Once the payment is done, if the transaction is deleted, if I am not getting the order, can you imagine the situation next time I'll use GeoMart? No, right? So each and every transaction is very, very, very important. So that is the reason in between if something goes wrong, there is a chance that you are going to, the customer, the application is going to lose the transaction. So that is the reason first it will write each and every minute details of these transactions to the log file. And at regular intervals, the transactions are going to be committed. There are two types of transactions, committed transaction, uncommitted transaction. So if you are mentioning that is a committed transaction, then what will happen, guys? Whatever data is there inside this particular, okay, inside this particular, this one, the data will be moved to the data file completely. The data will be moved to the data file completely. Okay, and then once the data is moved to the data file completely, it will be truncated. The transaction will be truncated. So that is the reason this is a reusable file. Again, it has to welcome. Some other customer will come, he will order some muskmelon, or else Thai Goa, or else bananas, or else some other devices he is going to order. So everything, whatever transactions you are doing, so everything will be inserted into the log file. So the log file should be empty, right? If the log file is full, it cannot welcome the new transactions. So application side users will get the error. So why? Because why we are discussing in this much detail means regularly you will get the some errors, I can say, in the organization. Daily you will get these errors. Any of the log file, any of the database log file will be full. Any of the database data file will be full. Okay, if the database log file is full, what is the impact, you know, guys? Now at least you have a basic idea. If log file is full, what will happen? You know the basic idea now. You have a basic idea now at least. If the data file is full, it cannot.
Running out of disk.
Yes.
No data is not received.
So running out of
Data
disk, because of that, what will happen? The application cannot take the new orders.
Performance.
That is true. It will be running out of disk because as there is no free space in the log file, application cannot take the new orders. If application cannot take the new orders means what? Business down. Your business is down. So that much impact. So you are going to handle hundreds and thousands of databases in the organization. Daily, at least one or two databases log files will be full. Data files will be full. Okay, so how to troubleshoot and all, that is a different case that will be discussed later. But now you have an idea, right? In what scenario log file will be full, in what scenario data file will be full, and if log file is full, what will happen, and if the data file is full, what will happen, you know, right now at least. Any questions, doubts? Yes, Raj, please.
Yeah, thanks, Roshan. So you just said that log file, first it will come in log file, then it will go
Yes.
to the data file,
Yes, this is
and
the
it will
flow.
automate. This is the flow,
Hmm.
right? And it is
It is
automatically
an automated
deleted in the
process. Yes. As I
automatic
said,
process.
depends upon the type of transaction. If it is a committed transaction, yes, it will be automatically deleted from the log file.
Okay,
When once it
so
returns to the disk, once it returns to the disk, don't, it won't directly delete it. Once it confirms that data is permanently stored, then only the transaction will be deleted from the log file.
okay,
Okay, it's not like, okay, my time is over, chalo, I am deleting. Okay, it's not like automatically it won't delete. Once it confirms the data is moved to the data file permanently, then the transaction will be deleted. Until then, until it is writing to the disk, okay, until it is writing the data to the disk, it will stay in the log file only. Once it's completely moved to the data file, then only it will be deleted from the log file. Clear?
Okay,
Sir,
so
what that
Sir,
what,
you want?
if there is no space for data file,
That's what, like, we have to handle simple thing. If there is no space in the in your drive, what you will do? In your
Need
drive,
to
you are reading, right? You are reading, you are writing, you are doing lot of operations. Like in my case, every day class recordings will be generated. If I don't have enough free space in my drive, what I will do? Either I am going to do some house cleaning activities, like I am going to delete some old files, okay, or else I am going to extend my drive. So as there is no free space, so I will delete the data. I cannot delete the data because after 1 year there might be an auditing in the GeoMart. GeoMart is also has to pay the taxes, right? It has to show each and every rupee, right? Okay, it might be like after 10 years, if income tax is asking the details, how much money you got, how much you spent. Okay, so all the details has to be stored, right? So you will not delete the data, we'll simply extend the drive. Okay, in
okay,
case if there is no free space in that particular drive, we'll extend. But here in the log file, there are some techniques. In the data file, data will be stored permanently, so we cannot delete the data in the data file. But in the log file, the transactions will be deleted automatically. So this can be handled in a different way. So in case if my log file is full, why it was full, why it is not going to, because generally it shouldn't full, because as I said, if transactions are there, it has to move to data file. If it is moving to data file, the same transaction will be truncated. So automatically it has to be reusable file, but it is not working as it is a reusable file. Okay, but something happened. It is not truncating, it is not deleting, something happened. So that reason we have to check and we have to troubleshoot. Okay, so this will be discussed at the end of the sessions, like what and all some common tasks we will get it daily, what and all tasks we will do, how to shrink the log file, how to, okay, handle the log file full issues, how to handle the data file full issues, how to handle the temp DB full issues. All these things will be discussed slowly.
Sir, how
Yes.
will come to know the log
Mm.
file
We
data
will get,
moved
we
to
will set
data
up
file?
the, okay, so your question is how we will come to know whether the
Yes.
data is moved from log file to data file.
Moved from log file to data
That
file.
is a natural process. So it's not like we'll get any notification, because hundreds of records, millions of records will be there. For every record, we'll not get notification, right? If we are getting notification for each and every transaction, you cannot even read the mails also. That many mails will be there. So very good question. How we will be notified means, if you see the data file size is increasing, okay, when you see the data file size is increasing, in that way also you can confirm. But it's very natural process. In case it is not moving, we'll set up the alerts. If that syncing is not working, based on the alerts we can troubleshoot it. But generally it will go, and you can see the data also when you run select queries and all, you can see the committed data and all. So if it is committed means definitely it will be moved to the data file.
I
Okay.
think I got it. It's if it is automatically related, so it is based on the recovery model, which we will learn later,
Forget
right?
about the recovery model. No, that is different thing. Don't take this recovery model. Your point is valid. But when we are discussing about the recovery model, there you will get to know completely. But for now, the flow, I am trying to explain the flow. So recovery models, definitely it will impact whatever we are discussing now. Definitely the process is also same in the recovery model concept. Okay. But I'll explain in detail when we are discussing about the recovery models concept. Yes, depends upon some recovery models, the log file will be truncated automatically. But whatever it is, it will truncate the committed data only. Uncommitted data it will not truncate. At the end of the day, no transactions are going to be deleted. Okay, if it is committed, yes, it's a natural process. It will delete. If it is uncommitted, it will
It
keep
will
it until it is going to be committed.
it will also happen when we transfer the money, and money is not transferred to the bank account. So it
Hmm.
will uncommitted data. It will come again. Means, we can get the money to our account, where the source account, right? So we
You
can get the money
cannot
because of it.
compare like that. You cannot compare.
Okay.
If transaction is successful, it is a committed. If transaction is unsuccessful, it is not a committed. Nothing like that. See, committed in the sense, it is failed or successful, it has to return to the disk. Okay, the transaction, whether, say for example, it is unsuccessful. Imagine if it is unsuccessful. So you are saying it will be deleted from the log file. Okay, as per your concept, it is going to be deleted. But what is the proof in future? In
No,
future,
I'm talking about successful. If it is successful,
that's
then it
what.
will delete it by the transaction.
If it is successful, then it will be deleted from the log file. But from the data file, it will be permanently
Data
written
file,
to the disk.
it will
Yeah, yeah, permanently it will be there in the data file. The transaction, if it is successful, the transaction will be truncated from the log file. That's it.
okay.
Truncate, delete both are same for now. Later I'll explain the differences between truncate and delete slowly. Okay, so don't worry about what is truncate, what is delete. Okay, as of now both are same. Truncate is also same, delete is also same, but there are few differences are there that will be discussed. Guys, is it clear? Only one thing I just want to, okay, explain, guys. Whatever data is coming from the application, it will goes to database. Database means collection of two files. One is log file, second one is data file. Log file, the other name of log file is also called as transaction log file. Okay, the other name of log file is also called as transaction log file. So the transaction, first it will goes to the log file. Log file will always stores the transactions. Okay, and if this transaction is committed, committed means control S. I'm writing something on the notepad. Okay, so I can write something on the notepad and all, right? So until the class is there, until the notepad is open, it will be there temporarily. If I decided to shut down my laptop, I'm going to close it. While closing, it will ask you, do you want me to save this? If I decided to save this, what will happen? It will be permanently written to the disk. If I don't decided to save this, what will happen? You cannot see the data next time. Is it clear now? The same thing will happen. As of now, it's a rough notes I am typing, okay, for temporary purpose until I am going to document this. So once it was permanently written to the disk, I have to manually go and delete this file if I want to delete in future. In future, if I want to delete this, I have to manually go and delete this. But until then, it will be existed, guys. Okay, so this is how. So the transaction, first it will goes to transaction log file. In the transaction log file, it will store all the details of the transaction, when it came, at what time it came, on what database it was executed, in which table it was inserted. Okay, and who executed this query? What is the LSN number, log sequence number of this query? What is the previous LSN before to this transaction? What is the previous LSN, current LSN, next LSN? So all these details it will be stored, guys. If something goes wrong, it is going to use the same details to, I'm going to use two words, to redo, undo. To redo, undoing the things. Redo means reapply. Undo means canceling the things. Okay, so it will be stored temporarily in the log file, and once the transaction is committed, then the data will be moved from log file to data file. So in the data file, the data will be stored permanently. Once the data is written to the disk, the transaction will be truncated or deleted from the log file. So again, it will welcome new transaction. In between, if something happened, if my data file is full, can it write the data to that data file, guys? Imagine my data file is full. Can it send transactions from log file to data file? No.
No, sir.
No.
So if my data file is full, what will happen? Log file cannot send the transactions to the data file. If log file cannot send the transactions to the data file, log file will be full. If log file is full, application cannot connect to the database. Clear? Now the flow is clear, guys. Because if it is writing to this data file, then only it will be truncated. If the data file is full, it cannot send the transaction to the data file, so it cannot delete from the log file. So the log file cannot create free space for the upcoming transactions. So automatically the log file will be full. If there is no breathing space in the log file, what will happen? Application cannot send the data. So from the application side, the database is not accessible kind of error you will get it, because the database will went into suspect state. If there is no free spaces in any of the files, the database will goes to suspect or recovery pending state. If database went into recovery pending state or restoring state, then application cannot connect to the database because it is not online. If it is online and accessible, then only application can access. If it is not accessible, if it is in recovery pending state, if it is in restoring state, then the application cannot connect, so application will be down. So ultimately users cannot do the business. So ultimately the business also will be down. Clear, guys? Are we good? So where these
Sir,
two
one
files will
question.
be stored? Yes, please, you can ask. Yeah.
Can we apply condition just like of any condition in transaction log, like of 30-day data only available in transaction log, 1 year data is only available in transaction log.
No, not
So we
like
can.
that kind of condition. That kind of condition you cannot apply. 1 year data, 1 month data. You cannot give any time frame like that. There are different levels. Slowly you'll get to know isolation levels kind of thing. What kind of data you want to read, whether committed data you want to read, uncommitted data you want to read. So those things and all. But there is no specific condition like you can store 1 year data, 5 months data, 1 month data, 2 days data, nothing like that. So the functionality is very simple. First, the
Mm,
transaction will comes from the application to the log file, and then if
mm.
it is committed, okay, then the data will be moved to the data file. Once the data is permanently written to the disk, so the transaction will be truncated or deleted from the log file. So in this way, the log file will be reusable for the new transactions.
Okay. That would committed based condition
Committed
is
based,
applied.
correct. Committed based condition will apply generally.
Okay. Thank you.
What about non-committed
Uncommitted
transaction?
transactions, it will be stored until you commit. Until you commit, it will be stored in the log file only. Until you commit,
It,
it will be stored in the log file only.
and it will not remove from the
No, it will
this
not,
log file.
because when the remove scenario will come, once it is written to the disk permanently, then only it will come. So while writing the transactions also, you can write committed and uncommitted. So wantedly, developers, they will write some committed data and uncommitted data wantedly. So these kind of orders and all committed only. But sometimes developers wants to test the logic and all, they don't commit the data. They will just use uncommitted data only. So until you commit, the data will be stored in the log file only. Okay, how many days it is, the data will be stored in the log file only until you commit. Once you committed, then only it will be moved to the data file, then the same transaction will be deleted from the log file. Questions, guys? So where these two files will be stored? Now I have a quick question for all of you. Where these two files will be stored?
The root directory.
Sorry?
This
Root directory.
Root directory only means simply disk, right?
Under desktop.
Disk,
Yes. Yes.
correct? So yesterday you have seen, right? Let me go to this. Let me create one database. I'll show you. I'll again explain how to create the database. Don't worry. I'm just simply creating the database. Okay. Um, 1 minute. Just 1 minute, guys. Right, sorry guys. Okay, I'm just creating a database. Again, I'll explain what all these things and all. Okay, I'm just creating one database, Geomart DB or Geomart orders. Okay, I'm just creating one database.
It's for quick understanding. Give
Yes,
me
just for the
2
understanding
seconds.
purpose. Yes, yes. Again, I'll show you
So,
what will happen again while creating the database. Yes, please tell me.
yeah, just quick understanding about I know about the shrink concept. By shrinking, we can remove the log file. I just want
Hmm.
to know if it is remove only committed data or non-committed data. If
No,
there is like a,
see, remember, always remember one thing. Only committed data it will remove. Okay, because
okay,
it's already
understood,
saved into the data file. So already a copy of the data is there. So if you when you shrink
understood,
it, it will delete only the committed data. It will not touch uncommitted data.
understood. Thank you.
If you, for example, if the log file size is 100 GB, out of 100 GB, okay, 80 GB is committed data, 20 GB is uncommitted data. If you shrink the log file, it will shrink the 80 GB. It will not touch the 20 GB uncommitted data. It will keep it as it is until it is going to be committed.
Okay, understood. Thank
Okay, right, yeah. So I just created the database in the 2019. 2019 means this folder, MS SQL 15 folder. Go to this MS SQL and then data folder. So when you create, see, database geomart orders data file, geomart orders log file. Can I open this to see what will happen in this file? What is storing on
No,
all in this file? Can I open this? If you are
no,
trying
sir.
to
you.
open any of these files, okay, the files will be corrupted, the database will be corrupted. Don't try to open these files. Up to this level you can go. Inside that you cannot go. If you are trying to double click on this file, okay, definitely the files will be corrupted, guys. You have to be very careful. Sometimes unknowingly people will open, the database will go to suspect state. If the database is suspect state as per this diagram, you know, right? If the database is not accessible, what will happen to the application? Application cannot reach the
Yeah.
database. If it cannot reach the database, it cannot do insert, it cannot do select and all. So by any chance, if Windows server is down, by any chance, if SQL server is down, by any chance, if the database is down, what is the condition of application, guys? Now, is it clear? Is the layout clear now?
Yes, usually.
So we have a from if the database, if the application has to be up and running continuously means database should be accessible, server SQL server should be accessible, Windows server should be accessible. So these three has to be up and running continuously. Then only the end user can see the data. If any of the object is down, if any of the flow is down, then the end user cannot see the data if the database is not accessible. Right? So now go to this server. So now if you see here Geomart orders and Geomart orders log file. See log file how the icon is. Okay, how the icon is log file, small running notes or rough notes kind of thing, a notepad kind of thing. Data file, how the icon is a table kind of thing, means permanently it will store the data in the tables. Okay, so just for the icon I'm explaining. So these two files. So when I'm trying to insert any data in this GMR database, so first it will goes to this log file, this log file. If it is committed, then from it will, what is the size of the log file? 8 MB. So from this file to this file, it will move, it will be moved. The transaction will be moved from this file to this file permanently. Then the same transaction will be truncated. So if that particular transaction is not truncating, if something happened, it is not able to move to data file. For example, the data file is completely full. Now where these two files are stored? In which drive? At the end of the day in C drive. Now if my C drive is full, what will happen? Now my C drive is 30 GB. If it is full,
It will
Not
not
accept any
transfer.
transaction.
correct? If the drive is full, either log file, first of all, log file cannot be accessible. So automatically, if any of the file is not accessible, means the application also will not be accessible. So all my files are storing in the C drive only. So if the log file is growing, it is going to eat my free space. If the data file is growing, it is going to eat my free space. So that is the reason we don't keep both the files in the same drive in the organization. We'll keep the data files in the separate drive. We'll keep the log files in the separate drive. Are you getting the point? For extra availability, if you keep both the files in the same drive, by any chance if the drive is full, automatically both files are not accessible and then the application will be down, the database will be down, and application will be down. If you keep data file in OneDrive, you remember the installation screens, data file directory, log file directory. You remember, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so let me go to this. I guess let me go back. I remember I created a log folder in the 2022. Okay, MS SQL, and then data, and say that it is storing everything here only. Okay, maybe I
Back
changed
it
that
is
one.
there.
It is there, huh?
Yeah, in MS SQL.
MS SQL log
So,
folder is there. Okay, log folder. Okay, okay, very good. Now this comes under
So this is
development.
error log.
This is error log, yeah, not this log. Okay, not this log, separate log. Okay, fine, no issues, guys. I'm just checking. I remember that I gave log folder. Okay, so now is it clear? That is the reason we don't keep both the files in the single drive. What is the problem? If you keep both the files in the single drive, lot of read and write operations will happen on the C drive, or not C drive, whatever drive it is, D drive, E drive, X drive, any drive, because a log file continuously data will be moved. Data file also continuously it will write the data to the disk. So what is the problem? If you keep both the files on in a single drive, lot of IO operations will be happened on the drive. It will impact the performance of the query. First thing. Second thing, okay, if my data file is full, if you keep both the files in the same drive, if my data file is full, there is no place to grow for the log file also. Automatically log file also will be full. Okay, so the database will be inaccessible. If you keep log file in the separate drive, data file in the separate drive, if my data file is full, that drive only will be impacted. In the log file, in the log drive, I will still have some free space. Until it is going to be full completely, the application will be up and running, guys. Is it clear, guys? That is the reason we don't keep data files. Sorry, we don't keep data files and log files, okay, in the same drive, because IOPS side, performance side, is it is not good. First thing. Second one is, if any of the files are full, it will impact the complete application. Okay, so immediately the application also will be down. So to get the higher chances, to make sure the application is available at least for some time, okay, will, if you keep log files in a separate drive, if you keep data files in a separate drive, so log drive will have its own free space, data drive will have its own free space. So at least until we are going to fix the issue, we'll have some breathing space, and then immediately we can go and check what went wrong, and then we can troubleshoot the issue, so we can make sure the application is not going to be down. So because of these reasons, we'll keep data files in a separate drive, log files in a separate drive. There is no mandatory both the files should be there in a single drive, guys. Log file can be another drive, data file can be another drive, or both can be in single drive also. But for the best practices, we'll store the log files in a separate drive. All the database log files will be stored in one drive. All the database data files will be stored in the data drive, other drive. So the drive that is storing the log files is called a log drive. The drive that is storing the data files is called a data drive, guys. Is it clear? Are we good now, everyone?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Because SQL Server has to write and the same time it has to read. So means
Correct.
we have
Very
to
good. At the same time,
we
it
have
has
to
to
give.
see. Now I am placing the order. So writing. Hundreds of people are accessing the application. They are reading. So because of my writing, their reads cannot be impacted. Because of their reads, my insert has it shouldn't be impacted. So a lot of IO operations. That's why like input output IO ops means input output. Operations will happen on the disk. So that is why it's not good practice to keep all the files in the same drive. If you keep it in multiple drives, definitely the performance will be improved. So this is also one best practice that we will follow, guys.
Yeah.
Clear? Any questions,
Yes.
doubts so far?
So separate file available, then high availability and disaster recovery is easily available for facility, right? High availability and disaster recovery function is available. That's
Yes, but I don't know why you are taking that word I have written disaster recovery. That comes under
because
different concept. Okay. High availability will be there because we are trying to, for every action that we are doing, our every action will be like to make sure the application is highly available only. So for sure it will be there. Okay, high availability will be there. So disaster recovery and all these are the new words that will be discussed slowly as per the concepts.
Okay.
Okay. Guys, any questions, please? Just try to remember this diagram. That's it. Okay. So nothing. Just try to remember whatever data we are getting from the application. So as of now, you know the difference between data and transaction, right? So the transactions will comes from the application. The transaction will go to one file called transaction log file. Until the data is going to be moved to the data file permanently, the transaction will wait in the log file at regular intervals. At regular intervals means, Shanmukh, what are the regular intervals? For example, I'm saying there are a lot of processes, but one process is checkpoint. This is too early to discuss. Checkpoint is kind of a control S. Whenever I'm typing, whenever we are typing, for every 2 minutes, 5 minutes, we are going to use control S, right? So the control S, we can call it as a checkpoint. So every 1 minute, every 60 seconds, checkpoint will run from the database side. This checkpoint will see what and all committed data is there. It will be moved to the data file. Okay. Clear? Every 1 minute, this process will run, guys, automatically.
Goes to the
Okay. So
log
that
file.
is how
If it goes
from
to the
log file
log
to data
file,
file.
yeah, so then it will create a LSN, right? Every transaction.
Correct. Yes. For every
Like,
transaction, it will
okay,
create. SQL Server will allocate
LSN.
one transaction once it's inserted.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that is how the data will be managed. That is the use of the log file. That is the use of the data file, guys. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So now let's go and create the database, guys. So let's discuss how to create the database. I'll show you how to create the database using GUI, how to create the database using command also. Okay. 1 minute, just 1 minute. Right. Okay. Sorry for that. So let's continue. Fine. So now I want to create a database. How to create the database? In two ways, we can create the database. One way is GUI way. Second way is command based. So I'll show you both the ways, GUI as well as command. GUI way means go to the server. I'm going to disconnect this 2022. We don't want now. In the 2019, I'll create the database. Right click on the databases side, right click, choose new database and expand this window. Give the database name, okay? Something like Geomart sales. Geomart sales. Sorry for that. I'm having some cough. Don't worry. Don't mind. So for every database, okay, there is an object called owner. For every database, we have to include the owner. We have to give the owner. If I don't give the owner, what will happen? The person who is creating the database, he will become the owner of the database. Are you getting the point, guys? Now tell me who is creating this database? Can you guess who is creating this database?
Administrator.
Very good. We have connected to the server as an administrator. We have connected to the server as an administrator. So whatever actions that you are doing now currently, so the owner of those actions will be administrator only. If I connected with my name Shanmukh, and if I am creating the database, if I don't change the owner, the database owner will be, who will be the owner of this database?
Shanmukh.
Shanmukh.
Shanmukh only. If Roja connected to the server with her name, Roja, not administrator. Here you can see Roja. Imagine Roja, it will show you. If Roja is connected to the server and if Roja is creating the database, if she don't change the owner, okay, automatically it will take the default owner. Default owner will be the person who is creating this database, with which login he connected and which login is creating the database. So the default owner, generally that is not good. Why that is not good? If I left the organization, my login will be deleted, my account will be deleted. So the databases that are having my account as a owner, or the objects that are having my account as a owner, they might not function properly. So that is the reason it's not a good practice to keep the owner as default. So I have to keep one permanent login as a owner. So who will be the permanent login in this list? Who will be the permanent login in this list?
Service account.
Service account is very good. Service
Administrator.
account is a permanent login, but we have one more login called SCA. SCA will be the permanent login. No one can delete. You can delete service account login, Roja. You can delete service account login, but you cannot delete SCA login. You cannot delete, even though SCA is there, but you cannot delete the SCA login. So because of that, all the objects owners will be, wherever you see the owner, you have to always change it to dash.
SCA.
Dash only, because SCA is the permanent login in the SQL server. No one can delete SCA. Clear? Wherever you see database owner, okay, and other than the database owner, jobs owners will be there. Job owner also should be SCA only. So wherever you see, if you see owner means always change it to SCA. Clear, guys, the owner concept?
Yes, sir.
Now you just expand this. If you see here, see here it is changing. See, here it is changing. If there is no name, we can see nothing. Okay, Geomart, see how it is coming here, how it is coming, Geomart sales. So the first file, as I said, what is meant by database? Database is a collection of
data and log
Collection of
files.
data element.
very good, data and log files. So if you see the first file, see automatically it is creating two files. First file is data file, rows data file type. And files cannot exist individually. Files cannot exist individually. So now let me show you one diagram. You will get an idea. Just 1 minute. Let me show you that also. One minute, I'm opening that one. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, listen carefully. Simple only. Sorry for that. Okay. So SQL Server is nothing but instance, right? Instance. If you go inside the instance, what will be there, guys? Inside the instance, what will be there?
Database.
Database. As I said, database is a collection of data files and
Log.
Log file.
So data files cannot exist individually. So data files will exist in the file groups only. File group concept. What is meant by file group? Collection of data files is called file groups. Okay. Data file cannot exist individually, guys. They cannot exist alone. They can be created in any of the file groups only. So if you see here inside the database, I just separated file groups and the log files. LDF file means log file. File groups and log files. If you go inside the file groups, by default, when you create a database, you will get a file group called primary file group. By default, you will get it. By default, you will get this primary file group. Inside that primary file group, the data files will be created. There are two types of data files. One is MDF file, sorry, MDF file, master data file. Second one is NDF file. NDF means what? Next data file or new data file. Are you getting the point, guys? So when you are creating the database, first you will get one MDF file and one log file, guys. Are you getting the point? When you are creating the database is a collection of two files, one data file, one log file. So one MDF file will get it. That is called master data file. By default, you will get this master data file. By default, you will get this master data file. But these files cannot exist alone, right? So that is the reason primary file group will be created automatically. So in the database, primary file group and log files. If you go inside the primary file group, you will have data files. There are two types of data files, MDF file and NDF file. MDF file will be by default created. If MDF file is full, I can add NDF file, guys. Only one MDF file will be there for database. If this MDF file is full, still the data is coming. Then I can add one more data file. The next data file is NDF file only. If NDF file is also full, there is no ODF file. MNOPQRS, nothing like that. MDF and NDF only. If MDF is full, I'll go to NDF file. If NDF is full, again I'll add one more NDF file. If that is also full, I'll keep adding the NDF files. Like that, how many files I can add, guys? How many files I can add? Any idea?
Till the disk is full.
Till the disk space is full. If the disk space is full, I'll add one more drive. Okay, so there should be a limit, right? That limit is called, remember this number, magic number in SQL Server. 32,760,
765.
7.
767,
7.
32,767 files I can add in database. Database supports 32,767 files. But Shanmukh, can I do generally add? Nothing, hardly. 1 or 2 or 3 files will generally add. That's it. But Microsoft is giving feasibility to add up to 32,767 files. Okay. So now if my MDF, whenever you are creating the database, first of all, what files you will get it? One MDF file, one LDF file. If MDF is full, okay, I'll add another file. That file is called NDF file. If that is also full, I'll add one more NDF file. If that is also full, I'll add one more NDF file. Like that, I'll keep adding the data files. Can we add log files also? Guess it.
No, sir.
No,
sir.
No.
No.
no,
No.
because it is default deleted, right?
Because it will
Whenever-
truncate the data. We will create.
Very
Another-
good question I actually asked. Very good question. Can I add LDF file also to the database? If my one LDF is full, can I add one more LDF? Now you are thinking. Good.
Once
No,
the
sir.
transaction is committed, the transactions will be deleted automatically, right? From the
Okay.
log file.
If it is not deleted, if you are giving
We
completely
will-
uncommitted data only, then
We will delete the
Sir, maybe while
committed data.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
and while writing transaction to the log file, it can't be determined, I believe, sir, which log file like that. So it will be
So what
default
is
one
the
log
answer?
file.
What is the answer? Default one log file only.
Yeah, one log file
Yes.
only.
Yes, sir.
Sura, Gauri?
Yeah, Shanmugh.
Good. Right, guys. Okay. So good answers. So the answer is we can add multiple log files also. Imagine the scenario. Just one scenario I'll tell you. I'm giving the uncommitted data only. Okay. So millions of transactions, all are uncommitted data only. There is no free space in the log file. It's completely full. Last minute. If there is no free space, if there is no breathing space, the application will be down. Database will be down, application will be down. In that scenario. So the answer is we can add multiple data files, we can add multiple log files also. But the answer is yes, we can add, but we don't add it in the organization. We'll add only data files. We don't add log files. So only one log file you can see if you go to any real-time production databases. Only one log file you can see. That doesn't mean you cannot add log files. You can add it, but we don't add multiple log files. We'll add only one log file, but we'll add multiple data files because log file is a reusable file. Okay, and the data that is coming from the application, it will always go to data file. So data file will keep growing, but log file will be keep reusable. But still there is a chance if there is no free space. Generally we don't do, but sometimes in the interviews also they will ask like this. You people might be misunderstood, but the concept is you can add multiple log files also. It will allow you to add multiple log files also. But we don't follow that practice. We'll keep only one log file per database, and we'll add multiple data files per database, guys. This is how it will work. Clear?
Sir, what is the space for log file LDF?
There is no space. Generally, by default, you can set the space. Okay, 8 MB by default, you will get it. Okay, so you can increase the space also.
Okay.
Automatically, when data is keep inserting, when there is a free space in your drive, the log file will grow, the data file will grow. Okay, so but the minimum size that is also we can change, but by default you will get with the 8 MB size.
In data file, we are using up to 32,767. In this, only one MDF, remaining all are.
Very good question. Very, very good question. Yes. In this 32,767 per database, only one MDF file will be there. MDF file is fixed. What will be there inside the MDF file? About the database, what is that? I can say metadata will be there. What is the database name? What is the database size? Where these files are stored? So all this data will be stored in the MDF file. That's why we'll call that file as MDF master data file. Okay, you can store the user data also in the same file, or else some organization will practice like they will not use MDF file to store the user data. They will keep adding the NDF files from day one onwards to store the user data. So metadata will be stored separately, user data will be stored separately. But most of the organizations will not follow this practice. So very good point. Even though we have 32,767 files, out of 32,767, only one MDF will exist, remaining 32,766 files are NDF files only. Okay, guys, are we good?
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes,
to
yes.
separate, to differentiate metadata and user data, Microsoft gave the feasibility like this. But most of the organizations will not follow this. In the MDF itself, they will keep inserting user data also. Metadata means about the database. What is the database size, where it was stored, how many files are there, okay, what is the database ID. These are all metadata. These details will be stored in the MDF file. User data, I want to buy one puchkai, like watermelon, or I want to buy some oranges, I want to buy some Apple phone. These are all like user data. Okay, so this user data directly coming from the application, this will be stored in the data file. But that data, you can store it in the MDF, or else you can use a separate file called NDF. So to differentiate between metadata and user data, Microsoft is giving the feasibility. Is it clear, guys, now? MDF, what is the use of the MDF? Are we good now?
Yes.
That was valid.
Mauni is responding. Actually, for Mauni, it is the first class, and others, those who are attending since 2 weeks, people are not responding. Guys, are we good? Do you want me to explain again? Is that clear?
Yeah, good, good.
Interesting?
Earlier you said
Clear,
Boring?
sir.
data files and log file. Data file is means primary file groups is also known as the data file, right?
That's
MDF
it.
and NDF.
Data files cannot exist alone, so they will
Hmm.
exist in the file group. So by default, file group is primary file group. You can
Primary.
create file groups. Okay, are we good, guys? Right, let's go inside. So I'll just touch these things and then we'll wrap it up for today. So don't worry, there is no break. I'll wrap it up early. Okay, in 10-15 minutes, I'll wrap it up. Right, if you go inside the data file, Shanmukh, what will be there? How the data will be stored? If you go inside, I want to see. If you go inside the data file, I told you, right? Don't open the data files manually. I told you, right? Okay, in the server, please be muted, Roja. Please be muted. Roja. Okay. I'm using the cursor actually. Tap, 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 tap. Where are you? Tap. Okay, fine. If you go inside, if you remember that one, I just went inside that C drive, program files, Microsoft SQL Server, instance, root directory, MS SQL folder, inside that data folder. You saw, right, two files. I told you don't open these two files, it will be corrupted, right? So if you go inside those two files, logically, how? If you go inside those two files, how it will work? Let me close this, then only I can use my cursor. Okay, so if you go inside this data files, any of the data files, either MDF or NDF files, you can see extents. Extent means collection of 8 data pages. What is this page, Shanmukh? If you go inside the extent, pages will be there. A page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server. A page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server. So when you are creating a table, where exactly the table will sit, guys? Do you know? On a
Databases.
page. On a data page. Very good. So Shanmugh, this is 8 KB page, right? Page size is fixed, which is 8 KB. That is fixed. Page size is fixed, which is 8 KB. If your data is not sufficient, SQL Server will add one page to your data table. If that is also completely full, like booklet, extent is a exam booklet, guys. Very simple example. If you go to like degree or PG examinations, you will get the booklet, right? Initially, extent is a booklet, collection of pages. If that booklet is completely full, what will happen? Again, we can ask for the additionals, right? So if my page is full, I am storing the data, okay, geomart orders. I'm inserting the data. So first, when you create a table, geomart orders table, that table first it will be created on this page. The page size is 8 KB. Until this 8 KB is going to be full, it is going to insert some values. If this 8 KB is full, SQL Server will allocate one page. If this page is also full, SQL Server will allocate one page. If this is also full, again it will allocate one page. Like that, it will keep allocating the pages, guys. That's why I told you one definition. Page is a basic storage unit. At the end of the day, all the tables will be stored on the pages only. If my booklet is full, then SQL Server will allocate dash. Dash it will
New
allocate.
page.
One extent, collection of pages. Okay, so SQL Server will keep. Extent is a basic allocation unit. Page is a basic storage unit. So I cannot show you these things. Okay, these are all like internals of the database. If you go inside the database, this is how it will be organized internally. We cannot directly see with the naked eye. Maybe using some queries and all we can see. But if you go inside the data files, you will have extents. If you go inside the extents, you will have pages. Page is the basic storage unit of a table. Whenever you are creating a table in the SQL Server, at the end of the day, the table will be created on an 8 KB page. And when you are inserting the data, if that 8 KB page is completely full, SQL Server will allocate again one more 8 KB page. Like that, it will keep growing. Like the file sizes will be 1 GB, 2 GB, 1 MB, 1 TB, 2 TB files also will be there. Sometimes database sizes will be 5 TB, 10 TB files. Database is also there in my organization. 10 TB database, 10 terabytes of database. I have seen like some of our students are handling 15 terabytes of database. You can imagine one database size is 15 terabytes, how big it is. That 15 terabytes also 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, like that only it was grown. Clear, guys? Are we good now? If you go inside the data file, what and all you can see. If you go inside the data file, you can see extents. Extent is a collection of how many pages?
8.
Now tell me the size of the extent.
64 KB.
64 KB.
Why? 8 8 ja 64.
It is just
Collection of 8 pages. Each page size is 8 KB. So 8 into 8, 64 KB is the extent size. So if this extent is full, SQL Server will allocate one more extent, 64 KB extent. If that extent is full, it will allocate one more booklet, one more booklet, one more booklet, one more booklet. Okay, it will keep adding the booklets. Okay, 64 KB booklets and all. Booklet means I'm just giving a reference like a booklet in the exam. Okay, so this is how internally it will be managed, guys.
The same concept will be applicable to log file also.
Very good question. Very good question. Log file will work like this. Okay. Clear all drawings. Close this. Ding, 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 ding. Where is my log file? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, come on. Right. Okay. This is my log file. This is data file we discussed it, right? This is log file. In the data file, we'll have page concept. Whereas in the log file, there is no page concept. Okay. In the log file, there is no page concept. So inside the log, if you go, that log is virtually divided into VLFs, virtual log files, VLF files. Okay, that log will be virtually divided into VLF files. VLF means the physical log will be virtually divided into multiple virtual log files, virtual log files. This is one VLF, this is one VLF, this is one VLF, this is one VLF. There are two types of VLFs, active VLF, inactive VLF. You can guess it. What is meant by active VLF and what is meant by inactive VLF? The VLF that is having data is called active VLF. The VLF which is free, that is called inactive VLF. So whatever you ordered, that puchkai, that watermelon will go to this portion. Okay, insert into, okay, orders, values, okay, order ID, watermelon, cost, address, this will be here. So one more transaction will be stored here. Like that, one more transaction, like that, one more transaction, like that, one more transaction. Once this VLF is full, then SQL Server will use this. Once this is committed, then it will go to the data file directly. If this transaction, so this place will be empty. If this is committed, it will go to the data file. If this place will be empty, if this is committed, this go to the data file. This place will be empty and this will go to the data file. This place will be empty. Like that, the whole active ELF will become inactive ELF. If you are getting again new data, it will use inactive VLF. If it is committed, the active portion of the log will be committed to the page. Okay, then it will be deleted, 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 and again the whole VLF will become empty. Okay, so log file will be virtually divided into virtual log files. Inside the virtual log files, we will have log blocks. Inside the log blocks, we will have log records, guys. Okay, that is how the log file will be managed. There is no page concept in the log file. Okay, the log file will have log blocks, log records only. In the data files, we'll have extents and pages. Little internals, don't worry, easy only. Again, only for information purpose. If you are giving more than 8 years of experience, if you are going for more than 8 years of experience, then they might ask these questions. What is meant by page? What is meant by extent? What is meant by log file? Tell me log file architecture. Tell me data file architecture. Okay, like this they might ask. So that is the reason. You should know right from where we are getting the data, where it is going, how it is going, how it is managing the data. All these things you should know, right? So that is the reason we explained, but don't worry at all. Try to understand. If not, watch the recording again. Try to understand, at least have a basic idea how the data is flowing, like the data flow and all, from where to where it is going, committed, uncommitted, log file, data file, how it is managing. Just try to have a picturization in your mind. That's it. Mostly no one will ask you these kind of questions. But again, depends upon the interviewer. Sometimes for 5 years also they might ask. Simple only, what is meant by page? Page is a basic storage unit. What is the size of the page? 8 KB. What is meant by extent? Extent is a basic allocation unit. What is the size of the extent? 64 KB. How many types of extents are there? Two types of extents. One is uniform extent. Second one is mixed extent. So what is uniform extent? What is mixed extent? Okay. What is uniform extent? What is mixed extent? Can anyone guess?
Same type of
Same kind of
database.
pages, uniform
Very good.
extent.
Very good. Very good. Okay. That's it, guys. Other than this, we don't need to discuss anything more, just for the basic idea. Okay. So all these things. If you go inside the page also, you can see like this. Okay. If you see, if you want to see Shanmukh, I want to go inside the page, how it look like. See, the page is a 8 KB, right? 8 KB page size. If you go inside the 8 KB page, the first portion, okay, page header will be there, and then row offset will be there. Inside that, you can see the records. So row offset contains address of each record. Address directly it will go and it will pull the record. So the color coding you see here, the yellow color, this is the address it will store in the, like book index. Every topic, how the index page will mark. Okay, for example, data structures, page number 225. So it will store the page number. Like this is also row offset is kind of a book index, page index kind of thing. So some watermelon record is storing in this place. Something like muskmelon, it is storing in this place. Something like a royal gala, gala. So Royal Gala apples, where it is storing? It is storing in this particular location. Okay. So like that, the row offset will have particular address locations and all, guys. Okay. So if you go inside the page, this is how it look like. But that and all, two internals, no need to go inside. Just for the information, you can just try to remember all these things, guys. Okay. Are we good? Any questions, doubts?
VLF, right? What is the
VLF, virtual log file, same. The physical log file will be divided into multiple VLF files. That's it. A logical portion, we can say. Okay. So one point I just want to add, then we'll wrap it up. So there are two types of extents. One is uniform extent, second one is mixed extent. Uniform extent means all the 8 pages belongs to same table. That is called uniform extent. Mixed extent means all the 8 pages belongs to dash.
Different types of
Different tables. That's it. This is in the uniform extent. Okay. For example, if we have one big table called orders table. So this also belongs to orders. This also belongs to orders. This also belongs to orders. Okay. That is all 8 pages belongs to orders table only. That's why it is called uniform extent. Mixed extent means this is orders table, this is sales table, this is transactions table, this is returns table, this is might be some we can say some other table. So each page belongs to different table. So that is called mixed extent. That's it.
Then Shanmugh, how server understand that this particular page is
Very
related
good
to
question.
this table?
Very
Yes,
very
yes,
good.
that's what I want to.
Very good question actually. Okay. So in the SQL Server we will have system pages, GAM page, global allocation map, SGAM page, shared global allocation map. So these two pages tracks all the extents which are mixed, which are uniform. When you are trying to create one table, create table name, orders, then SQL Server will go to SGAM page. GAM page will have all the details, what and all extents are free, what and all extents are allocated. SGAM page will also have all the details, what and all mixed extents with at least one free page. So initially, when you are trying to create a table, SQL Server will goes to SGAM page. SGAM page will give you the details of the mixed extent. Hey, SQL Server, see, this is the mixed extent that is having one free page. Use this mixed extent. If the table is growing, let me know. I'll allocate one uniform extent for you. Okay, using the system pages, it will manage all these things properly, Ranjana. Okay, guys, are we good? Yeah. If we are good, that's it for now. I don't want. Yeah, please, you can ask. You can go ahead. Vaibhav, you're on mute.
Sir, I'm little bit confused between in Oracle there is the external segment is there, right?
Don't compare Oracle and SQL. One batch
So,
in every batch. One guy will
so,
visit to compare like that. Yeah, Vaibhav.
so I'm little bit confused between the table structure because extend is there, pages is there. So I'm searching for segment and blocks. That's
No,
what
no,
I'm.
no. Don't search like that. Okay, completely different. Don't search like
Okay.
that. Maybe you can search it like that segment and blocks comes under log file architecture. Try to maybe just compare the functionality of a log file and your segment block concept.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys. But
I
guys,
need
are we
some
good?
more
At least
clarity on. I
please,
need
Raj.
some more clarity on. What is the
Clarity on what?
uniform?
Uniform
Uniform
extent.
and mix.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Don't worry. Very simple.
It's
So,
time.
yeah, sure. So, uniform extent means generally I'll create one small table, guys, with one column. Create table student ID. In future, I can use the table. I cannot use the table. Correct? If I use the table, that will be fine. But imagine if I don't use the table, I'm going to waste. Imagine SQL service giving mixed uniform extent to me for one single table. Imagine there is no concept of okay mixed or uniform. Imagine I'm saying imagine if there is no concept of mixed or uniform. So it is simply when I'm creating a small table also, SQL Server will allocate 64 KB extent, right? What is the size of the extent? 64 KB.
64 GB.
If I don't insert any data, am I going to waste the whole 64 KB, right? Like that, how many tables will create? Small tables and all. For small 1 KB, 2 KB tables also, why I have to waste 64 KB storage? So that is why this mixed extent came into the picture. So in the mixed extent, you can allocate all 8 pages to different objects, all 8 objects. So when you are creating the table for the first time, for saving the storage, first it will allocate one page only. If your table is growing, then SQL will understand, okay, this table is growing, better, I'll allocate one uniform extent, so that all 8 pages belongs to the same table. And when you write a command, select star from employee, all the pages that is using this table will be loaded inside the memory, RAM. From there you are reading the data. Now is it clear how these pages will be managed? How these extents will be managed?
Yeah, that's good. And one question: if we will create temporary table or declare table, so how where it will store in that
For
same way?
that, we have a separate database called TempDB.
Oh,
Okay, all the temporary
yeah,
tables and temporary variables will be managed by TempDB. When we discuss about the system database, you will get a clarity on TempDB, temp tables.
now understood. Now I got an idea about extend, mix extend, and
Yeah, interesting or boring?
obviously interesting. The way you are
Obviously boring.
teaching, I am eager to know more and more.
Good. Yes, Jarif, please.
Yes, Shanmugh. So by default, when we create a database, the data file is gotta be in a like uniform manner or fashion or
You
ununiform.
will have both Jarif. Okay, see, now I can say like you will have both uniform and mixed also, but it depends upon the usage of your objects. It depends upon the growing. Okay, how frequently they are growing. So based on that, SQL Server will itself will allocate either uniform or mixed extents. It will intelligently it will take the decision, and based on that, it is going to allocate either uniform or mixed extent based on the growing of the objects. Okay, so let's create this database, guys. So the data file, okay, the rows data and log file, this is how it will be. And data file will belongs to a file group called primary file group. Log file, there is no file group concept for the log file. The initial sizes are 8 MB, 8 MB. Auto growth, what is auto growth and all in the next class I'll explain, don't worry. And if you want to save the data file in the same location, this is the default location, you can give the same location. If you want to change the location to some other drive or some other folder, you can click on this browse button and you can give the location or path. Okay, and by default these files, physical files, will automatically will get it. Okay, what is the options, what is file groups, everything I'll explain, okay, in the next class. If I want to add extra data file or extra log file, I can add it from here. Click on add. Okay, geomart sales F2. F2 means file 2, not fun and frustration. Okay, right, F2. If this file has to be log file, select this and you can choose log file. If you want log file, you can simply select the drop down and you can choose. If you want to add data file, keep it as it is, don't change anything. And if it is data file, means primary file group, the same size, everything like this. Okay, now the second file is, let me show you. Click OK. I'm clicking OK now. Okay, I just clicked OK now. Now the file is created. Let's go to the physical location. See program files, Microsoft SQL Server, instance root directory, MS SQL, data folder. So now see here. Geomart sales, second one. Geomart sales data file, Geomart sales log file, Geomart sales one more data file. And if you see the type of the file, okay, see Geomart primary data file, Geomart secondary data file. Secondary data file means which file?
NDF file.
NDF file. Shanmukh, I don't believe you. No, I don't believe you. Show me the proof. Go to this, go to the extension, see the extension .ndf. Okay, and go to this data file, go to the extension properties. Okay, see the extension .mdf.ldf and go to this, go to the properties of this file and see the extension .ldf. Now, how many files you are going to create? Next time it won't give you, Shanmukh, you want me to create MDF or NDF? No, it will directly create NDF only when you are trying to add. Okay, so that is how it will be. So that's it for now. Please don't omit as the subject. We discuss a lot of things. So don't feel
One
like
question. But when you
overburden.
created,
Hmm.
but when you created the secondary file, it was showing in primary data file group only.
Group. See, we can group all the data files in one file group. That doesn't. If you want, Shanmukh, I want to separate it. You can create a separate file group. You can keep all the secondary
Oh.
files in one more file group. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. There is a quick update. If you have any questions, guys, are we good to close the session now? Or we'll take the break and we'll connect again for 1 more hour. Roja is not there. Gauri will tell. Gauri we can connect for 1 more hour.
I am okay. This is morning time for me.
Just joking, guys. That's it for now. Like we discussed a lot of things. Okay. So if you have any questions, we are good to discuss. Otherwise, we are good to log off for the day. And no questions, then I'll update you on one thing. Next weekend, I will not take the sessions, guys. So next weekend I'll be out of station. Okay, so only for the next weekend. Okay, for the 4 classes, there will be no sessions for the next weekend. So again, we can connect. That doesn't mean I'm going to leave you. I will connect with you. We'll have one assignment session. I'll simply connect with you. I'll have one assignment session for you. So just for fun, okay, just for the fun, I'll give you one task. I'll create a breakout rooms. A technical discussion won't be there, but okay, assignment kind of thing will be there. I'll connect either Saturday morning or Saturday evening. Just kind of a test. Who is going to create virtual machine quickly? I'll break out. Okay, 20 people are there, right? 4 breakout rooms. I'll create five people. Team building activity. So these 5 people, you have to, one of you has to share the screen. You have to create virtual machine. You have to install Windows Server. You have to set up RDP. You have to install SQL Server. So which team is going to complete this task first? Okay. So rating rankings will be there. So this kind of activity I'm going to perform in the next weekend. Technical discussion won't be there, but I'm going to perform one exam. Okay, like this. So be ready, guys. Next weekend we'll have a session on this.
Where
Okay,
you
I'm
will
going to.
inform Shanmukh? Actually, do we have any kind of group? Because I am not.
No group. Okay, so now only I'm informing. So you can connect next Saturday morning. Okay, so we'll discuss all these things. Yeah, whatever we discussed. So that is common. Okay, but technical sessions won't be there. So I'll take for next weekend to make sure to not to disconnect. Okay, so because again next weekend if no classes means again next to next weekend, right? Kind of a disconnect. So I don't want you to disconnect on the subject. So I'll give some assignments so that I'll be there with you. So okay, we can do, guys. Okay, fine. Are we good, guys? Now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So please be prepared. Okay. We'll see which team will win. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
Shanmukh.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
sir.
much.
Good night.
Good night. Good
Thank
day.
you, sir.
Bye.
Thanks, Swati sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, Candle. Bye.